I wanted to help UCLA in their pancreatic cancer program, and they said they didn't have one. And of course, my next sentence was, "You have one now. Help me build it."
With the passing of her husband, she turned that energy and dedicated herself to find a cure for pancreatic cancer.
Aggie and her family's commitment to discovering a cure for pancreatic cancer has been very palpable.
I surrounded myself with the very, very best. I wanted answers. I wanted life to change.
The growth of what Aggie envisioned and did initially has truly become global.
She was the first foundation that was established, and there has been substantial progress since the Hirshberg Foundation started its work.
The mission and the vision statement of the Hirshberg Foundation are really the guiding lights for all of the work that we do.
The Hirschberg Center for Pancreatic Cancer at UCLA took 15 years to accomplish.
And that was always a goal of my mom's. Pancreatic cancer patients would be able to go to one place, not have to bounce around from their doctor to their oncologist to their surgeon. The opening of that center was really a huge benchmark, a huge milestone.
And today, the UCLA Center is one of the best in the country. Our mission to fund new researchers
Can be seen through the work that we do with our seed grant program, our symposiums, the establishment of the labs at UCLA. And
with the help of Dr. Reber, we opened the first laboratory at UCLA.
The original Pancreatic Cancer Research Laboratory is now one major component of the Aggie Hirshberg Center for Pancreatic Diseases.
And the primary focus of that lab was to focus on the connection between diabetes and obesity and pancreatic cancer. A few years ago, we were able to expand on that with the addition of the Sahin Toth lab. These two labs are side by side in the same building, and they can collaborate.
Collaboration between universities sharing their basic banks is a keynote to the future.
The Aggie Hirshberg Symposium was started in 2005. It was initially a great vehicle to provide hope, to allow the pancreatic cancer patients to know that work was being done, to know that there were really bright minds, the brightest in the world, were focusing on the disease that they had, in the hopes that they'll be inspired by what we're inspired by the work of our researchers.
To hear that there's actually work in process. That was the beginning of trying to work with patients and families. 16, 17 years later, we have many patients that are still with us. That makes us very, very proud. About 5 years after we started, we created the National Seed Grant Program.
We provide small startup funding to young researchers in the hopes that the work that they do will then get published and bring in larger funding from the NIH.
That's really the major scientific contribution that the Hirshberg Foundation has done.
Since the Seed Grant program was started, we've awarded 104 grants to researchers across the globe. And the best part is that it's resulted in more than $130 million in funding from the NIH.
That program turned out to be one of the best things that we have done for the foundation.
A critical piece to us being able to provide patient support for families no matter where they live are the relationships and connections that my mom and Amy have made through the American Pancreatic Association.
Amy Reese is fantastic with patients and the family members. And we have helped hundreds of patients, not only at UCLA, which is our home base, but across the country.
We're so fortunate to have those relationships, to be able to utilize those relationships to help newly diagnosed patients find the care that they need no matter where they live.
I think we've done it all, like the golf tournaments and the runs in 25 years to pull off what we've pulled off on the awareness side around the country and around the world. Has been amazing.
Each year we have thousands of families who come together to walk or run for their loved ones, and it started with a handful of teams and has grown to over 100 teams who come back year after year.
What we've been able to do and the amount of lives we've been able to touch has just been truly remarkable.
In 2002, the Hirschberg training team was born. It's our marathon training group that currently runs the LA Marathon every March. The Hirschberg training team is one of those critical fundraising pieces for the foundation. We're now coming up on 10 years of Tour de Pier. It's an outdoor stationary cycling event that takes place in Manhattan Beach.
And this year, the Tour de Pier is going to break 10 million. The LA Cancer Challenge is getting close to breaking $10 million. That's $20 million just with our core events that we've had with the Hirschberg Foundation.
We're creating awareness and we're creating community, and we're doing some significant fundraising at the same time.
When we started this foundation for pancreatic cancer, we pretty much treated it a lot like a business. We created a mission, vision, core values, and when you look at what we put out there of the 5 pillars, we really accomplished and are accomplishing 4 of the 5.
But there's still that one piece, the last mission statement, which is to find a cure.
We can see the end, and it's just so much more promising than it was day one.
It is within sight now, and I would not have been able to say that when I started here almost 30 years ago.
We have contributed to the manpower in doing pancreatic cancer research. So it's very gratifying to see how the field grow.
25 years later, there's so much hope. There's so much work being done. There's so much progress that has been made. And all of those things are things to celebrate.
I think it's important to dream, and dream big, and you know, dream crazy. I look forward to when we've cured pancreatic cancer. And
That last piece of the puzzle, finding a cure, is why we will never give up. It's why the journey will continue with an end in sight.
Never give up, because finding the cure is worth fighting for.